Excited to announce with the 75th pick, Green Bay Packers selected Jace Sternberger from tight end out of Texas A&M. And with that, we'll open it up for questions.
Jon-Eric, what's the challenge of evaluating a guy that has really only 1 year of production?
I think it's like, anytime you're evaluating any athlete, you're looking for a skill set. He's got a very exciting skill set. He's a smooth, fluid athlete. He's got hands. He's got ball skills. He can stop and start. And so we were attracted to that. He's a guy who we feel like is on the come. He's an ascending player. So, yeah, we were really glad to get him.
Had you guys seen him when he was in junior college as well?
No, we did not. He was a riser at Texas A&M. He really, quite frankly, didn't play a lot. He was a late bloomer, is what he was. Didn't have much of a career at Kansas. Moved on to junior college and then kind of burst on the scene this year. But we had multiple. Charles Walls went through there, who was our area scout. Did a lot of work on him. Did a really good job. And then I went through there myself, and we were very pleased with what we found.
How important was it to not just address a tight end early in the draft, but specifically an inline guy who can block and is kind of well-rounded?
He is a very competitive football player, a very competitive kid. It's important to him to be a well-rounded football player. I think when you watch him, his value is as a pass catcher today, but he is willing to block. He's a very good athlete. He can play on his feet. He can hook and seal. And he'll get in there and mix it up, and he's on the come that way. Again, you said it. He's a well-rounded football player, and I think he'll fit in good with our group. Mercedes and Jimmy and Robert will be good for him, and it's a good room. We'll kind of throw them all in there and see how it works out.
So at the combine, he didn't run like a super great time, but he averaged like 17 yards catch, a whole bunch of big plays. So what do you see there?
He plays fast. When the ball's in his hand, he's got really good run after catch. He's got very good tempo in his routes. He gets in and out of his cuts with precision and quickness. He's an athletic kid. You're right. I mean, he didn't blow you away with his time, but it's like all these guys when you're watching receivers, tight ends, backs. It's how they play the game. I mean, the 40 is a means to an end, but at the end of the day, do they play fast? And he played fast. We were fine with him.
Does he catch it easily, or is it?
Yes. Very, very good body control, ball skills. He can adjust, catch the off-target throw. He tracks it well. No issue with his hands at all. We were very pleased with the way he caught the football.
What do you think you've added to the offense with these 2 picks?
I'm sorry?
What do you think you've added to the offense with these 2 picks?
With Jenkins, we got a guy who can play up and down the line of scrimmage. He started games at center, at guard, at tackle. He's a big, powerful man who's a very good athlete. Again, the position versatility, he's wired right, he's tough. He's a guy who just gives you a lot of value. And then with Jace, again, just a guy who's an ascending player at a position of need, so to speak. And a guy who we feel like has a lot of very, very intriguing athletic attributes to be a very good player in this league as a tight end.
What did Jace tell you? What did the people in Kansas tell you in terms of why it didn't work out for him there?
I'll let him tell that story if he chooses. It wasn't anything problematic. I think he felt like he just needed a fresh start. He's a bit of a late bloomer. I mean, I think if he's standing up here, he tells you that. Just physically, he was kind of late to develop. I think he just needed a fresh start and went on to the JUCO, had some success, and then came to A&M and kind of burst on the scene, was a 1-year guy there. But again, it wasn't anything. He didn't get run out of there. He didn't get any trouble or anything like that. I think he needed a fresh start and chose to move on.
Do you think he can contribute much as a rookie? That seems to be a position where rookies don't necessarily
We think he can. Again, we're very excited to get Jimmy back. Obviously, we have Mercedes, Tanyan as a player we're excited about. I don't think there's pressure for him to come in here and be Superman. I think we can throw him in that room and let him grow and mature as time marches on. But we definitely think he has the skill set to do that if needed.
How much of this is projection on what he can do in the middle of the field and not just run down the middle, down the stripes and get down the field? Wasn't he pretty much a one-trick pony that way at
In terms of playing in line.
Run straight line deep.
No, he ran choice routes and ran corners, ran your traditional tight end route tree. He can get down the seam and he's good at it. But no, when you watch him athletically, he's got feet. He can drop his weight. He can get in and out of breaks. He does it with precision. He's got some route savvy. We have no issues with his ability to run the full route tree and contribute. So.
By all accounts, this was a deep tight end draft. So how close are all these prospects together, and does anything stand out about him compared to some of the other guys?
Yeah, I don't like to compare. I don't want to get into comparing players. I don't think it's fair to Jace or the other guys. I'll say this: we were very intrigued with him from the outset. We were high on him from the time we kind of went in there in the fall. We continued to do the work. We liked what we saw throughout the course of the spring, and we felt like he was comparable, with the better tight ends in this class. I'll say that.
Did you bring him here for one of your visits? Was he one of your?
We did. Yep.
What did you glean out of that? And I guess why? A, first why, and then B, what did you glean out of that?
I don't think you can ever do enough work on these kids. Again, it was a short stint at Texas A&M, so you always want to do your due diligence, bring him in. We met with him at the combine. He was part of our 60 interview group, did a great job, handled himself well. Wanted to bring him in here, kind of sit down with him one more time, just to get to know the kid. He's very confident. He's got a poise about him. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's eager to prove to the world, that he's a player. And good kid, comes from a good home. I think if I'm not mistaken, his mom was a basketball player, so comes from a family of athletes. And he's a good kid. We really like the person and we like the player.
Jack, after Hawkinson and Fant, was it sort of eye of the beauty of the eye of the beholder with these tight ends? Was it a pretty tight group in terms of evaluation?
I would say, it's always in the eye of the beholder, even with those top guys, but again, with him, we were very intrigued and excited to get him,
Jon-Eric, you mentioned that with some of the guys in front of him with the position, there won't be a lot of pressure to necessarily contribute right away. Do you get the sense that he could give you something on special teams, and is that anything related to A&M?
Yeah, there's no question. He's a guy, again, he's competitive. He's going to do whatever you ask him to do. And he's got that kind of skill set. He can run, he can get down the field. He was 251 pounds at the combine, so he can bang if he needs to bang, and he's got enough speed and athleticism to play on coverage teams if that's what we needed him to do. Absolutely.
Please.
When you get to the evaluation of these picks, we know that what really is going to count is how hard is he going to work once he gets here in the next year or two, and then he'll be NFL ready. So as you look at these kids in their college career, are there marks? Is it in the interviews? Is it in the physical progress you see that you can project, say, when he gets here, he's going to continue to grow when he gets in the end?
I think so. I think with him in particular, you could see him start to change his body over the year that he was at Texas A&M. Start to fill out, start to get a little heavier. He was 251 at the combine. I think he was in the two. Don't quote me on this, as I know you will. But I want to say when I was in there, he was in kind of the mid 240s. So he's a guy who's growing and maturing into his body and doing it well, carrying the weight well, moving around with it well. But a guy like that who really was at a program for 1 year and kind of really, you like to think that guy's going to get here and get in the weight room, and there's going to be some consistency with him over the next couple of years. So he'll continue to develop his body and his game. So no doubt.
Jon-Eric, you obviously really liked him, and you guys always talk about best player available, but did you and Goody and the guys, did you feel like you had to get a tight end and a good one here in the first couple of days? Was that important to you if you could do it?
Yeah, it was important to us if we could do it, no doubt. Brian, I know, has addressed this with you guys. We always try to take the best player available. That's just philosophically what we believe in. And he was the bbest player available for us at this time. But it worked out because it's a position that we value, and we need to get a young guy in the mix, and we did. So we're excited about it.